Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Heroes Roar ebook and also book launch. I am delighted to be here celebrating the power that is this amazing book series with you all. And you're going to meet some phenomenal authors today. And they're all backstage. I see them. Hey, guys. They're waving. And I cannot wait for you to meet them. So I'm sure you've seen that amazing trailer there. I just want to share a little bit about this series and why it is so important and powerful, and how it just epitomizes how I show up for story every single day. So this is actually my first personal anthology that I am pulling together. I have helped numerous anthologies led by other business leaders into the world, and this is my first. And of course, it isn't just a one book, it's a series, because that's how we roll. And not just a series, it's a docu-film as well. The Lion docu-film is launching at the end of the year, and we cannot wait to share these stories on the screen as well as in the book. But for now, you've got the book, and it's on a really cool price on Amazon today. So go and grab your copy and help us get to number one. We need you all helping us getting this over the line, because every one of these authors deserves to be a best-selling author. This book is that good. I'm that confident about it. Okay, so I'm going to bring up everyone individually just to have a quick chat so that you can get to know them and just get to feel the essence of the caliber of people that is in the Heroes Roar Lion edition. And these are stories of courage and perseverance, and wow, have they not blown my socks off. So our first co-author and cast member is the amazing Catherine Malloy. So come and join me, Catherine. There we go. Hello, Catherine. How are you going?
Hi, I'm really good. How are you?
I'm really good. We're supposed to be sitting together doing this because you're actually in Perth at the moment, aren't you?
I am, and it's very, very warm, hence the hair up.
Hey, we've had this for months. We have to suck it up. So, Catherine, thank you so much for sharing your story in Heroes Roar. And it's funny because whenever you started to write this story, it kind of ignited something within you that's going to be more than just the chapter that you wrote. So tell us about 16 seconds.
Yeah, so it's always interesting, I think, when you start to put pen to paper, and I encourage anyone out there to try it if you haven't. But during this time, I wrote 16 seconds. A lot of things happen when we're 16, and it was interesting. I was just on a podcast this morning, and the lady running the podcast fell pregnant at 16. And a lot of people I speak to, when you think back, what was it that changed, what shifted? And during that time when I was 16, my mother actually passed very suddenly in front of me. And obviously that's triggered a lot of different things in life, but has also given me courage to know that someone with wings is beside me, and just to keep pushing myself and keep stepping out. But it's also proven that in 16 seconds we can have a thought that can come in, and it may not be the right thought, but within 16 seconds we can alter and change our state, change that thought, to make a really big difference. And I believe that courage comes when we allow the negative out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're speaking my talk, Catherine Malloy. And that's the thing, but your life can also change in 16 seconds. When you're 16, when you were 16, going back to that 16-year-old girl who watched something very traumatic happen that changed her life forever, and a huge hug to her right now from me. But has given you the perseverance and the courage to be who you are today, I'm sure. And that your mum's with you always, so you've got the energy there. But how does Catherine Malloy, how has that impacted on you and your story tonight?
When I met my husband, everything was quite beautiful. We weren't having children. We decided, and then we had 3 in 3 years. So sometimes the universe just changes things. And unfortunately, we had another very big change at the age of 44. One morning I got up and my husband was in fetal position at the bottom of the bed, and he was in tears. I'd never seen him cry. And he said, "I can't go back to work." And it was just in that moment, I remember having a hand on him, a hand on my heart, going, what do I need to do to make him better? And what am I going to do to be able to keep life going for our family? And once again, 16 seconds, everything runs through your mind. And I just decided just to step up, and we swapped roles, and we had a business which he was always worried about, and so he said he wasn't going to get better until we sold it, so we had to sell it attached to it. We lost well over $1 million. We were left with no jobs and a big mortgage on a house, and that's when I quickly withdrew $50,000 from our mortgage, which is all I could get before the bank knew we couldn't pay anything back. And I started a training company, of course, because my favorite thing in the world was customer service. Only I discovered very quickly people were wanting leadership. So then I did a lot of study, more research. And during this time, I'd always worked with body language, mindset, and behaviors. I'd studied behaviors. So it made a massive difference when it came to leading. And then in my first year, we signed over $1 million in contracts to be delivering training over the next 18 months. We grew to around 18 staff and 36 trainers around Australia. Then we went international. The Sunshine Coast Council took me on a mission, an education mission with the universities and TAFE College, and we went over to China, and then they asked me to come back and speak. And I worked there every year until 2020, when COVID decided to take everything away again, because I was a speaker, and of course all our stages closed down. So it has been, I guess, the universe at different times will strip us from the things that we love. But each and every one of us is a massive resource on legs that when we actually listen to the universe, we can make a difference. And I think I was just telling you about something that I was given in 2020 that finally I'm having the courage to do in a couple of months, which will be the Leading Lady Watches. But I believe that through Hear Us Roar, it allows you just to identify and pinpoint those moments that really made the change. And I love the stories in this book, and I know that everyone is going to love them.
Oh, amazing, Catherine. I could sit and chat to you all day, but I'm going to have to let you go and get your haircut. So thank you so much for joining me. Amazing. See, guys, the amazing caliber of people in this book. Amazing, amazing. All right, I'm going to follow that up with the amazing Nicole Whitty, who is joining us from South Australia today, and who's going to be giving me a big hug next week because she's coming to Perth. Nicole, how are you going?
Very well, thank you. I'm so grateful to be here with you and all of these beautiful authors today. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you so much for showing up for Story and being part of this amazing collection of humans, I call it, and stories that I know are having a ripple effect in this world. And your story does that. So can you share a little bit about your courage and perseverance chapter?
Thank you, Karen. My courage and perseverance chapter is based on how I created my business, the Elysian Sanctuary, and moved to this location that's specifically been created to really help people in an environment that's tranquil, that's peaceful. It's very well, it is away from all the hustle and bustle, and it gives people a space to come to heal, to be able to shift their mindsets, to be able to deal with trauma, whatever people are going through. People come here for that. And I share how I created it because a lot of people see me now after I've done this for a number of years, and they don't realize that it actually came from me ending up in hospital myself, and asking spirit, asking my higher self, my guide. My dad was in spirit as well, and I had a lot of family trauma leading up to it after Dad died, with so much family drama and different things that happened. I I just fell down, and I was so vulnerable, and I couldn't breathe. I was in hospital, wondering, you know, if I died now, as we do, we have those moments. We think, well, if I died now, am I living the life that I want to live? Am I living where I want to live? Am I doing things the way that I want to do them? And it was a really defining moment for me, because I realized that even in that most vulnerable state, I had a huge amount of courage in me and this big well of desire in me to not live the way that I was living before. And I had to change it, and I wasn't going to accept anything other than the way that I wanted to live from that moment on. And that was the gift that came out of it, and it's inspired a lot of other people, of course, from hearing that that story. Because, as I said, a lot of people, they see people that are in a place where they've able to been to they've been able to create success, and they've been able to create great businesses that are helping other people, and they don't realize that it comes from a place of for me, my own suffering and my own despair. And it took a huge amount of courage for me. I didn't have the money, I didn't have the resources, I didn't have the support, and it was just all off my own back. And I just went for it, and I said, I'm going to find that place. I'm going to find that place that's peaceful for me, to be able to serve people with all the skills that I have. Obviously, I do intuitive readings, I do energy healing, I offer holistic services, and have done so for 15 years now. And being able to create the space of my dreams, to be able to do it for me to have my well-being as well, and for me to be in a state where I can offer as much of myself to other people, and take care of myself as well while I'm serving others. That's what came out of it. Because before then, I was very much in the mindset of just keep on going, you're building a business, I felt like I had to, I had the mindset that I couldn't say no to people. I was in people pleasing mode as well. I was really burning myself out. Sometimes I'd work 14 days straight just to make sure that I could give everyone everything. And I paid the price. I really did. And I really learned the hard way that self-care and taking care of ourselves in order to be able to take care of others is paramount.
Yeah. And you've journeyed to that. And so you've got the lived experience of being able to show to others that this is your end game if you keep on this tangent. But the healing and taking care of yourself and nurturing yourself, and like you have been just an absolute godsend to me and my family over the past few months. We just love and adore you, and like I don't have to fly over to South Australia and go to your sanctuary as much as I want to every day. I feel like I couldn't teleport myself there, but you're able to do it from distance. You can tap into energies. You have been given this beautiful infinite gift, and you take care of it, and you it's a gift, and you nurture it, and but you also nurture you so that you can give the best of yourself to others. And I think that that's a very big thing that people can learn from your chapter as well, is to go there.
Yeah, it's so important, and it's a blessing to be able to work with people all over the world, all over Australia, and be able to, I think what it does for people is everyone realizes from that moment when you experience it, that there is no distance, there's no separation with energy, and with being able to send love and send healing, and the power of that and that intention when it's done from the heart. And the results that people get is so fulfilling for me, because I knew what it was like to not have that support myself. So that's why I love being able to give it to other people. And I understand what it's like, when you have moments where you feel like, I don't know what else to do. I I need someone to reach out to, and I'm happy to be that person for people.
Oh, amazing. Oh, again, I have to scurry through everyone, but thank you so much, Nicole, for always showing up and for sharing story and for all of the energy work you do. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you so much.
Oh, amazing. Okay, guys, I'm going to pull up the amazing Ali Bannister. Hey, Ali, how you going?
Hello, I am marvellous because it's nearly St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, it is. We get to drown some shamrocks.
I put my Irish green on.
Ali, it's on a weekend this year.
I know, which is
I'll talk to you later
dangerous.
about that. Ali lives quite close to me. If we walked 10 minutes towards each other, we would meet in the middle. So there you go.
Yes, we do.
And there happens to be pubs there too, right in the middle.
Yes. On the ocean.
Moving on. Ali, you are our first chapter in Heroes Roar. So you are. So what an honor, hey?
And I am blessed. I'm so grateful that I am. I just think it's just such a humbling experience to be part of this book, but such a wonderful opportunity. And to me, the story of courage just resonates with me all the time. And this was such a really cathartic experience writing this story. It was incredible. It brought up so many emotions to myself that I'd forgotten about as a young woman. And it made me really, truly realize why I do what I do today.
Yeah. Oh, it's just beautiful. And I called upon you. I was like, come on, you have to be part of Heroes Roar. Because you were the author of another book called Get Your Rear into Gear. So you can imagine the humor and the forwardness, that approach that Ali comes to. There's no nonsense, let's get to it kind of approach. So.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, but you can do it with a smile on your face. And I think it is about that. It's about, being realistic. I understand. So personally, as a career coach, I think it's very much about helping people, particularly women. And that's what resonated with me in the story more than anything else. It's about being brought up in the Irish household in the 1970s where money was really scarce, really, really scarce. And what do you do to get yourself out of that situation? And, for myself and my brother, I started working on the markets probably when I was about 9 years old. And I thought, right, okay, if there's not enough money to go around at home, how can I become a business development person and get some money into my bank account for the things that I wanted? But I guess also this, the story that I've written, I believe, to me, was about you become sometimes as a woman, and through your paradigm, a bit of a people pleaser. And my father was from Northern Ireland, from Belfast, and my mother was from Fermanagh, a place close to your heart. And you have this hereditary these genetics almost, that you kind of do what you're told. And that was very hard for me because I was very outgoing. And so my dad worked on a night shift to earn extra money. And so I became this kind of people pleaser on the one hand when I was a young person, but then I started to rebel as an older person. My mum never returned to work after she had 4 children because she was a full-time housewife, which in the day, I guess, was quite normal. But she lost all of her confidence after having kids, and she never went back to work. She lost her rhythm, I guess. And so I've made it my mission to help as many women, and young women particularly, to really build their own confidence and recognize their self-worth, so as they can go into the workplace and hold their head up high as an equal, regardless of their circumstances. I was, a bit of a tomboy / rebel when I was a youngster, but I realized it was probably, I was quite anxious. There was an underlying anxiety because, my dad was on nights for about 20 years. I daren't make a sound in the house, but I'm this outgoing, gregarious person. So I had this internal battle going on that I felt as if there was constraints, but upon me, and I wanted to break those constraints. So I just have taken it upon myself, potentially, more so in the last 6 years when I've had my business, to empower as many young women on this planet. So I've partnered with 30 local governments across Western Australia. I provide career coaching services now so as women and young people can access them for free, so they can build their skills, build their knowledge. For example, today I was teaching LinkedIn and how to start your own business. We've just come off the back of International Women's Day last week. And, I'm delighted to say I was really, really busy. And I was the MC at a women's veterans event. And I've just made it my mission to get out there and push myself, but to show as many young, middle-aged, mature, women that they have so much to offer the world and the world of work. And I think sometimes that's lacking. And, they can still find their joy, even if it's in their 40s, 50s and 60s, whether it even be starting their own business. And we know so many women, more mature women, that have actually started their own business and have been incredibly successful. I think one of the things that I do want to share throughout this story as well, though, is that I guess to me, success isn't just about financial success. You don't have to be a multi-millionairess to believe that you're successful, because success comes from within. And if you can start to believe in yourself, you'll then slowly but surely start to become successful regardless, because you're putting that mindset into everything you do. And you can change your paradigm regardless of what your circumstances are or have been, where, from like me, a girl that didn't really enjoy school very much.
I'm seeing a theme here with everybody. There's so much courage and perseverance in everyone, and everyone has been through adversities and identified something from their history, from and are finding solutions for that and actioning that. So I commend you in all of your work, and I'll see you Sunday somewhere. Okay.
Oh, for sure. And I think there's a birthday drink due somewhere as well, Karen.
And the birthday's the day after if I survive the Sunday. All right.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I am very, very grateful.
Thank you, Ali. See you later. Oh, amazing. And the wonderful, amazing Lisa Benson, who will be sick looking at me because she's been doing so many Zooms and interviews for all of the wonderful books and anthologies that you've been part of recently. Can I say Unstoppable Stories, Ubuntu, now Heroes Roar. It's going to be a big collection, Lisa.
I love it. And I'm so happy to see you every day, Karen. It's been amazing. And I am so grateful to be a part of all of these anthologies. And obviously today we're talking about Heroes Roar, but it's just a beautiful collection. And you've brought so many amazing people together from around the world. And yeah, it's an honor to be one of the authors in this first book in the series.
Oh, I just couldn't do it without you being part of it. I would have been knocking on your door until you said yes. Lisa, we already have 108 people as part of this project, over two and a bit books. It's just phenomenal. All these stories getting shared and having impact. So it's just really, really special to me that people show up for a story in here. I'm just checking here. All right, so I'm just want to hear about this story, because I remember you talked about writing this chapter and that how it just drew something really important and powerful out of you. So can you share a little about that?
Of course. And yes, it was. It actually took me I think it was about 4 or 5 months to write this chapter. So obviously that's a long time. But obviously I didn't do it full time for that time. But it just shows how much went into this chapter. And I do believe that out of everything I've written, it's one of the pieces that's closest to my heart, and very powerful things came out in my own self-development. So it's called The Roar of Silence. And again, it's this running theme that 3 of the women have talked about today, which is the people pleasing. So my life as a reforming perfectionist and a people pleaser was all about, keeping the peace and being the good girl and not speaking up and sacrificing my own feelings for other people. So I would just take all, if there was something derogatory said, I would just take it and suppress it. But there's consequences for that. So when we suppress all our feelings, obviously we haven't got all day, but there's health implications, and these things eventually come out. So my story is about how I finally had the courage to find and use my voice, which it's not just, and this is where the courage and perseverance comes in. It's not just, okay, here we are, and now we found our voice. It takes a long time, and it's about stepping into that, transformation and the transition into the new version of yourself. And I go into a lot in the story about Kali energy and Hindu goddess, the wild Hindu goddess, and all that. So that's for everyone to read in the chapter. But the main thing I want to get across is that when we do step into our power and speak up, and my situation was someone was very derogatory to me and I spoke up, but my instant reaction was the guilt, and it actually induced one of probably the lowest points in my life because of all this conditioning and the guilt of, you shouldn't have said that. And, sometimes it's best just to say nothing. So I want to empower people, and especially young women, to be able to step up and actually say how they're feeling. And people will be disappointed and people will be upset, but we have to be authentic and to be our true selves. We have to be able to stand in our power and speak up and say how we really feel.
Oh. Love it. That's your Miss Universe speech there, Lisa.
Oh, thank you. There you go. Recorded copy of it.
I'll send you the recording. It's it's just such important work, and to share and have that impact through story. And that's what you do. You really, I love your whole, how you do it. Like, you get the smudge thing out, you clear the air, you clear the energy, and then you just immerse yourself in the story and deliver what the reader needs to read. Look, there we go. See?
Yes. And I have one for every book. So I'm going to do a post about that because I write the chapter and then I burn for that chapter. So it's very special for me. Drawing in the energy and what the universe needs me to, share.
I would love for you to do, and for all of our authors to do, like, your own video so we can share it, because there's just so much more than we can't fit into these big, where everybody's coming on. I'd love for you to do that, so please do.
Of course. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you so much. I just keep smiling. And you're going to meet another human, and it's no coincidence that she has to come after Lisa Benson. Hello, Fleur Chambers.
Hi, Karen. So nice to be here.
It is so lovely to have you here, Fleur, and thank you so much for showing up her story in Hero's Roar. Can you share a little bit about why Hero's Roar was important to you in the Courage and Perseverance chapter?
Yeah, absolutely. I just decided to have some fun with this chapter, actually. And when I saw the beautiful front cover of the book, 2 moments I'd had with lions just came flashing across my awareness. And so I decided to reflect on the symbolism of them and how that related to courage and perseverance. And so the first story I reflected on was when I was 19, footloose and fancy free, and told my mum and dad I was going to Africa with my boss, who was also my boyfriend and 12 years older than me. And so I smiled at that, and I got the film ready to catch these lions doing these amazing moves, and instead all we saw were lions sleeping. And so what that opened up for me was the courage to rest. We often think that courage needs to be this outward, fast-paced, strong manifestation, but actually to rest is a really courageous act in this productivity-driven world that we live in. And so I explored the cycles that we naturally go through and which ones we lean into and which ones we resist, like planning, striving, wishing, wanting, hibernating, resting, hurrying, parting, all these different cycles that we move through, but we lean into some of them and we lean away from others. So I explored this idea that courage is actually being with each of the cycles of our life as they naturally happen. And then the second lion story that came up was when we went to a beautiful zoo in America, and there were these two lions who had been living together as partners for 14 years. They had two lion kids together, and the woman became very sick. And so they brought in this new and improved model of a lion so the older male lion could mate. And he just wasn't interested. All he did was lay with the older lion until she passed away. And so that just, for me, I get goosebumps just thinking about that, just really highlighted the power of connection, and how actually what gets in the way of connection is the comparisons we make to people who are younger and more attractive, or older and more wise. We upwards compare, we downwards compare. We do it when we're on social media. We do it with other parents, with other people in business. And what that comparison does is it just erodes our sense of shared humanity. So I dived into the possibility that courage is really a willingness to drop the comparison and to lean into this idea that we're all here on planet Earth, trying our best with what we've got, with a desire to be seen and heard and appreciated.
Oh, just breathe that in, people. Just breathe it in. Love it. Love it. And anyone who doesn't know Fleur Chambers, please go and check out her amazing books, 10 Pathways and Wholehearted Confidence, and her phenomenal Happy Habit app that I actually talk about in my TEDx talk because I love it so much. I just love everything you do. So thank you so much for showing up for Story and Heroes Roar.
Well, thank you for being a champion of story, for always having a lightness of spirit and a lot of fun along the way. I'm grateful to be your friend.
Oh, thank you, Fleur. We do have fun. Bye-bye. Oh, beautiful. All right, Kiara Sharp is coming to join me on stage. The amazing people just keep coming. Hello, Kiara.
Wow, I don't know how to follow on after Fleur's share. What a beautiful story. I was in tears when she shared about the male lion. Fleur, thank you so much. My gosh. So beautiful.
That's
so
my
great.
Story. Martin, you wouldn't hear that if Fleur didn't show up and experience.
No. This is why what we're doing is so important, isn't it? And, we're so grateful to you, Karen. So grateful for everything that you do, and having this all come together and having us be part of it. Truly blessed.
It's a big calling, and I knew you had to be part of it, Kiara, because you've got stories and you share an amazing story in here. And I remember jumping on a call with you and you helped me shift, because I had a big thing about my name at the time, and you just made it so clear, and I ended up making a really clear decision. I got clarity around it. So can you share with everyone, don't give away all your chapter, but just share with everyone a bit of the essence of it.
Yes. All right. So the essence of it, there are some messages all the way through the chapter. One of the biggest is that it's so important to listen to your body. Listen to your body and see what it's telling you. The whole chapter is what's in a name, and the reason why I wrote about it is that when I was 29, or from my entire life up until I was 29, I was known as Kerry. And you'll read in the chapter, how that came about. But basically, at the age of 29, going on 30, I became very ill. And I was living in Sydney, Australia at the time. And I was organising a big 30th party for myself and family and friends. And I was just so unwell. And then this particular day leading up to the dinner that we'd organised, I got into a cab, and the Russian taxi driver, who was an angel in human form. And that's the other message. There are people in your life who will show up for you, who will be angels in human form. They'll come in and they'll, spread their magic, and then they'll leave you. And I've had several in my time. And this taxi driver was one of them. And he basically looked at me in the rearview mirror, knew I was unwell, offered to do my numerology because he felt this calling to helping me find out what was going on with me. And to cut a long story short, you know, I invited him in for a cup of tea. I gave him a notepad and a pen, and my name at the time was Kerry Louise Tino. And fast forward, it came out that I was born with the name of Kiara, named after my grandmother, and I hadn't lived that name. And though Kerry held a lot of richness for me in the first part of my life up to 29, my body was well and truly telling me it was time to step into Kiara. And Sorab led me to that. And that really was the start of my healing journey. I got to learning that, you know, you've got to listen to your body, your emotions. So important to feel the emotions and heal that way. And that was the beginning and the end of that illness that I had when I stepped into Kiara. And the whole story talks about the journey of, you know, people.
So powerful. And she didn't get murdered, guys. She didn't invite this taxi driver into her house. She didn't get murdered. You know, as TV would have us believe, you know.
No, I completely trusted myself, yes. And trusted him.
Yes, it was such a catalyst in your life. And I don't even care to imagine what would have happened had you not, you know, and had you not taken that step. It's just truly powerful, and everyone's going to have to go and read that story, because how you articulate it is just so beautiful as you read it. It's brilliant as you share it, but as you read it.
Thank you. Yeah, that's it, really.
Yeah, and I just want to share with everyone, Kiara is the head over the NHI in Australia, which is the Napoleon Hill Institute. So I highly recommend you go and check that out. Nicole is also part of it, and I'm coming in as well. So I absolutely love and adore all of this work, and it's all about story. It's all about stories and learning and all of this. So, but thank you so much for showing up for Story and Heroes Roar, Kiara. Such a
Thank
blessing.
you, beautiful. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys, we have one more amazing human, amazing Holly Holland. Hello, Holly, all the way from Canada. Is it nighttime? What time is it with you? You're muted.
It's actually 12:30 a.m.
At night? Oh my goodness. Okay, we won't keep you long. Holly, share with us what makes you roar.
You know, this was such a special chapter to write. I really knew all along that I had some energy gifts, but I had been holding back on the courage to reveal that. I had announced my word being synergy, and that was that was in 2022, and I knew that I had all of the gifts, and that all of the things all work together: the writing, the intuition, trust, and the gifts. And I was finding that people would say, you know, aren't you kind of busy with a lot of things? Like, don't you have a lot of balls in the air? And I'd be like, yes, but I trusted myself that I was doing the right thing. And I mean, writing just completely revealed that I always had these gifts. I had been ignoring them and kept getting all these little hints.
Well, you didn't serendipitously come to the castle in 2019 and then stay on for the next fiction retreat for no reason and meet all of the people that were aligned with your soul, make those connections. You know, you were put there and it happened. I remember it happening right in front of my face. And then you wrote the book, and that's been such a catalyst for you, hasn't it, Holly?
It has. Yeah, it's just been incredible. I always had wanted to write, and it just, you know, like you always say, when time and circumstance align, you know. And
magic happens. Don't forget about the magic.
Yes. And I remember being really curious. I remember you saying that, you know, magic happens there. And I'm just like, I wonder how that's going to unfold. So it's just been.
There's our friend Michelle. Michelle, you should be in here talking to us, Michelle. But Holly,
Oh,
Michelle, so Holly, you're an incredible woman. I adore you. There we go. Beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Holly, thank you so much for showing up for Story in Heroes Roar and showing up after midnight
Oh.
to everyone. But thank you for showing up for Story in Heroes Roar. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. And thank you so much for everything, Karen. Amazing.
Oh,
You're
pleasure.
the best.
I just adore your journey. I adore it. You're only getting started, really, aren't you? All right, Holly, thank you so much. Take care. All right, everyone, that is Heroes Roar. As you can see, there's 38 people in this book and you got to meet about 8 of them. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the power of it? So it's on special today on ebook, on Kindle. So go and grab your copy and make sure that you come and tell us what you think. Send us a selfie, send us your reviews. Everything is, we are so grateful just to get these stories out into the world because they deserve to be read, they deserve to be heard, and they deserve to have the ripple effect that they were intended to have. All right, guys, goodbye.